If you look across social media right now, everyone is talking about being an empath or a healer. The world treats it like a trendy personality trait or some kind of mystical superpower. But if you actually live with this kind of deep spiritual sensitivity, you know it doesn't always feel like a superpower. Most days, it feels like an overwhelming, confusing weight that you don't know what to do with, especially when you're trying to navigate your faith. And that is exactly what we are exposing today, the raw, unfiltered truth about what it actually means to be an empath and a healer from a kingdom perspective. Over the next few minutes, we are going to look past the internet trends and the cultural noise to look at the actual spiritual mechanics of your sensitive heart. We'll explore why the enemy tries so hard to counterfeit your gift, how to know if your deep sensitivity is a prophetic tool or just an open door for spiritual warfare, and how to finally stop surviving your gift and start walking in your true, God-given authority. It's time to talk about what's really going on, so let's dive in. The secular counterfeit versus the kingdom design. If you scroll through TikTok or Instagram, the culture tells you that being an empath just means you have a rare personality type, or that you're highly intuitive. But the secular world doesn't have the language for the spirit realm, so they try to explain a deeply spiritual reality with basic psychology or New Age ideas. And on the flip side, if you walk into a lot of traditional churches, they don't know what to do with your deep sensitivity either. They might tell you you're just over-emotional, or they completely ignore the fact that you can physically feel the spiritual temperature of a room when you walk in. So you're left caught in the middle. But here is what we need to realize. Satan never creates anything new. He only counterfeits what God has already designed. The reason the world is so obsessed with the concept of empaths right now is because the enemy knows that a massive generation of young healers is waking up to their gifts. If he can convince you that your sensitivity is just a secular personality trait, you will never take that gift to the altar. You will keep trying to manage it with crystals, energy clearing, or isolation, instead of letting the Holy Spirit activate it as a weapon for the kingdom. The mechanics of your sensitive spirit. Let's look at the actual spiritual mechanics of how your heart is wired. When God designs someone with the calling of a healer, He gives them a spirit that is incredibly porous. You have a heightened capacity for spiritual discernment. Where an ordinary person walks into a conversation and just hears the words being said, your spirit is reading the underlying frequency. You are picking up on the hidden grief, the spirit of rejection, or the heavy oppression that the person is actively fighting against. This is why you've probably felt different your entire life. You've probably felt like you have a raw nerve exposed to the world. But here is the catch. Because your spirit is so open, you become a prime target for spiritual warfare. The enemy wants to overload your system. He will send heavy atmospheres, chaotic environments, and broken people your way to keep you in a constant state of emotional drowning. Because an empath who is drowning in everyone else's feelings is completely neutralized. You can't heal anyone if you are fighting just to keep your own head above water. Moving from a compassionate sponge to a prophetic vessel. So how do we break out of the survival mode? How do we move from just being a sensitive person who gets taken out by the week's bad news and become a dangerous weapon for God? It requires a total shift in how you view your gift. You have to stop viewing your sensitivity as something you are suffering from and start viewing it as something you reign over. True kingdom healers don't just sit in a room and absorb the darkness. When Jesus walked up to the demon-possessed man or the woman with the issue of blood, he didn't catch their sickness. He didn't leave the encounter feeling depressed or dirty. Instead, the virtue and power inside of him flowed out and forced the atmosphere of sickness to bow. Your discernment is not a green light for you to absorb the pain. It is a prophetic prompt for you to release the cure. The moment you feel the heavy atmosphere of a room, your immediate internal response shouldn't be, "Oh no, I need to protect myself." It should be, "God, what is the atmosphere of heaven that you want me to release right here to shift this place?" The weight of the calling. Carrying this kind of heart is not an easy path. It means you will feel things more deeply than the people around you, and sometimes it will feel lonely. You will see things in rooms that others are completely blind to. But God chose you for this specific era because the world is getting louder, heavier, and more chaotic. The young adults in your generation are fighting silent battles with anxiety and brokenness that they don't even have words for. And God needs healers who can look past the surface, feel the root of the pain, and stand in the gap for them. You were not given a spirit of fear or overwhelming anxiety. You were given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. It is time to stop hiding your heart, take off the chameleon mask, and let God use your sensitivity to shake the world around you. Thank you so much for riding out this deep conversation with me today. If this message resonated with your spirit and gave you some clarity on why you feel the way you do, hit that subscribe button. We are building a real, unfiltered community right here for young healers to grow, heal, and step into their purpose together. Before you scroll away, let's connect in the comments. Have you been feeling that tension between how the world talks about empaths versus how your faith views it? Let's talk about it below. Take gentle care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.